Hi viewers, today we are going to watch Salesforce BA certification preparation part 22. This is the last version of this very series, and at the end of the series I will tell you some secret for clear the certification. Let me continue. So the development support and user acceptance support and validate user acceptance testing to ensure the solution meets the requirements. This model delves into the concept of user acceptance testing and explains how it is used to ensure that the system meets the requirement and needs of the business. It covers the ideal time to begin UAT during the project passes, the key stakeholders involved in the process, the steps involved in UAT, best practice to follow, and common pitfall to avoid, along with the comprehensive overview of different testing types. This section also describes the role of business analyst in the UAT stage of the project. Business analysts are involved in the project from the initial meetings and have a full understanding of the feature that are to be delivered. User acceptance testing steps which determine if the software meets the need of the business. Best practice and shortcut to avoid a set of best practices should be followed while performing UAT, such as having a test plan for different kinds of user, but also avoiding shortcut. Testing types. There are 6 different testing types, and user acceptance testing is one of those test types. People involved. There are 4 group of people involved during the UAT steps. When does UAT happens, and steps UAT start after development of requirement and before deployment. Business analyst role in the UAT process, planning UAT and designing test cases. Because business analysts are involved in gathering project requirement, they have an extensive understanding of what must be tested during UAT. Executing test cases, UAT determine whether the developed solution can be used in live environment or fail to meet the intended expectation. Identifying UAT testers, business analysts engage with some involved in the project from its beginning and can identify who would be a good tester. Obtaining sign off and conducting a roadmap meeting. Business analysts lies between developers and business owners of the project to confirm that delivered enhancement to fulfill the objective. What is UAT? UAT establish whether the software meets the needs of the business. Unlike other types of testing, actual users or the product owners test the software. User UAT gives users the capacity to see what has been built and gives input to improve development before going live. Acceptance UAT gives user the chance to formally acceptance to approve the system as meeting their needs and as fit for its intended purpose. Testing. During UAT, users evaluate the software system, applicable applications or solutions by testing. It is a simulation environment known as a sandbox to ensure it meets the business and technical requirement. Those involved, there are 4 groups of people involved during the UAT steps. Testers, end user are relying on UAT to validate the system's readiness for the production environment. UAT can also be performed by individuals with extensive domain knowledge. Software development team. When bugs are found in the UAT environment, developers are brought into the process. This team examines the issue and works towards a solution so that UAT is compliant for the production environment. Project manager. The PM mounts any final decisions and decides the next steps for development cycle. By keeping everyone informed about the status of test, PMs frequently serve as like link between tester and business owners. Business owners known as the project sponsor. They are in charge of ensuring that the test plan supports the project goals. When defects are discovered, they participate in the decision making process and make ownership of any approval changes control items. When to do UAT? During the implementation process, there is a right time to complete UAT. User acceptance testing is typically started after development of requirement in the test environment and before development. The best defense against unforeseen outcome at the project conclusions is it perform VAT early and incrementally, therefore collaborating with the development team to discover means of accomplishing VAT early on a vital. VAT steps. VAT follows a certain process starting with the planning process and ending with the user acceptance. Planning. These steps involve planning all requirement and drawing up the plans to perform UAT. User acceptance testing teams uh, covers the test cases against to ensure all bugs are resolved. The team acceptance the requirement at the steps. Bug fix. The development teams work on fixing any reported issues. Designing test cases. Test case get created to cover all test scenarios and guide testers on what to follow during UAT. Selecting tester. Tester who understand the business processes should be selected. Executing test case and documentation. The testing team complete the test in the steps and document any issues that may have arisen during UAT. Testing type. There are six different testing type, and user acceptance testing is one of those test type. Performance testing. Performance testing is about building trust by observing a system's performance as it is being used often with increasing utilization rates. System testing, ETE testing. System and ETE testing are critical in organization with many managed packages or APIs. Regression testing. A regression test which can be automated verify that the modifications are not impacting existing functionalities. Unit testing. Every unit of code in a single command must undergo unit testing, which is needed for software development regardless of the language or platform. Functional testing ensure the system is functioning as expected by comparing the code to the system as a whole. User acceptance testing end user who are capable of defining the process test the new code designed to complete the UAT passes. Best practice. A set of best practices should be followed while performing UAT. Create a distinct test plan for each kind of users who will take part UAT. For each user type, including the business scenarios they will work through in their test plan. Give the tester the right instruction for each business scenarios that needs to be tested. Appropriate instruction ensure that the tester tests everything that should be tested. Check that each of the requirement will be tested by all of the intended user types and test plans for the individual's user role as necessary to ensure that each requirement is fully covered by UAT. Planning shortcuts. There are two test planning shortcuts to avoid. Uh, Reuse test. Using tests written by UA test QA testers is not good use of time since those tests have already been run and passed. QA testers test for system failure and to locate flaws, but UAT is for evaluating acceptability, not planning UAT test. UAT testers may struggle to achieve their UAT objectives without a test plan, as they may not have the necessary training to complete the testing effectively. The role of a business analyst in UAT. Who should business analysts be involved in UAT? Business analysts understand the future that must be delivered during the project and can verify if the software meet the intended expectation. Understanding of business needs. Business analysts ensure that the future enhancement worked on during the project realize project intention. They have a complete understanding of the entire process and can uncover potential risk and problem identified during the UAT. Collaboration with the project team. Business analysts meet people involved in the project throughout its course. They attend requirement gathering meetings to gain a full perspective on project deliverables. Collaborations with the project team ensure that business analysts have a capacity to identify people who need to be involved in UAT. Business analysts also receive final sign up from project stakeholders after the UAT process is completed. Planning UAT and designing test cases. Because business analysts are involved in gathering project requirement, they have an extensive understanding of what must be tested during UAT, coordinating and leading UAT. Business analysts facilitate UAT by preparing its schedule and determining its scope. They ensure that all parties involved have a good understanding of the process and, if needed, clarify all uncertainties. Business analysts can be present during the entire UAT process to coordinate its proceeding. Writing UAT script. Business analysts identify the scenarios that must be tested during UAT. Business analysts should ensure that the test script will cover all possible scenarios to address both the successful paths and risk scenarios. Identifying UAT testers. Business analysts establish working relations with the individual engaged in the project. Selecting testers. During the initial stage of the project, business analysts meet a variety of people involved in the planning and the development process. They understand the intention and the end user have for the future improvement and can identify whose perspective should be tested during UAT to validate that solutions work as intended. Executing test cases. Business analysts have the knowledge needed to validate if solution meet project objectives. Documentation of test cases. UAT determine whether the developed solution can be used in live environment or fail to meet the intended expectation. The solutions can cover all the required specifications but still not be ready to the approved to give go live. Business analysts have the most extensive understanding of the improvement needed to be added to accomplish project deliverables. Collaborations with the developers. Business analysts collaborate with the developers on bugs uncovered during UAT to ensure they are resolved before moving to the go live stage of the project. Collaborations on bug fixing prevent the need of for introducing new changes once the enhancement go live. Obtaining sign off and conducting a roundup meeting. Business analysts lies between developers and the business owners of the project to confirm that delivered enhancement to fulfill the objectives. Summary and closing of UAT. Business analysts to go through the defect log and secure the fixing of all bugs discovered during UAT. By collaborating with the testers and developers, they double check if all scenarios were covered during test and if risks were mitigated. Writing sign off before going live. Business analysts must ensure that the result of UAT prove that the solution meet the quality and the expectation of what was requested. Business analysts receive the official sign off from the project stakeholders before the solution can be deployed to the production environment. Best practice for business analyst involvement in UAT. Business analysts are engaged in UAT to coordinate its proceeding preparation. UAT success depends on planning and executing of the test cases. Business analysts prepare UAT schedules and work on test scenarios and defect logs for bugs. Process. Business analysts should establish the timelines for test cases and the process for clarifying test scenarios, reporting bugs, and closing the UAT passes. UAT schedule. Business analysts should develop a clear schedule for the UAT passes, taking into account the timeline of the entire project and other tasks delivered in parallel. Sandbox data. Business analysts validate if data imported to sandbox environment and used during UAT testers is set up correctly and ready to be used in test cases. Closing UAT. UAT offers learning opportunity for business analysts. It validates how accurately the requirements were elicited and delivered in the final solution. We can see some scenarios. The UAT test that the team at Cosmic Advisor conducted recently for one of its projects were not successfully and did not bring the expected result. The team has reused a test written by their QA tester and was unable to evaluate the acceptability of developed feature. For its current project, the company decided to approach the UAT passes of the project differently. Which practice should the team keep in mind to ensure the good quality of UAT tester? The solution is business analysts should ensure that all users have their distinct test plan to follow and have the appropriate instruction for each business scenario. This way, the team ensure that the UAT passes cover a wide range of business scenarios, including successful and risk paths. BS must prepare a realistic test environment and make sure that the data meeting the right criteria is there for a test to run smoothly. Whenever they encounter bugs, UAT testers should follow a bug log and communication standards to effectively raise issue. We can see another scenario. The project team working on a new features for cosmic innovation is preparing for UAT passes of the project. Business owners would like to ensure that tests cover all possible scenario and that UAT determine if the release achieves the identified objectives. They would like to ensure that one of the business analysts involved in the project from the beginning coordinate the UAT stage. What steps in the UAT process should the business analyst covers? The project business analyst facilitate the entire UAT and can participate in all stages of the process. The business analyst develops a UAT timeline and determine the scope of conducted tests. The appointed person should create test scenarios covering success path and potential risk. The business analyst select the tester and clarify how the process proceed to mitigate all uncertainties. She collaborate with the developers on fixing bugs uncovered during UAT to ensure they are resolved before moving to the go live stage. These are all some resources for this. um, Thank you for watching. At the beginning of this video series, I told everyone like I can share the tip how we can pass for the certification. um in trial hard, there is a separate link. um Prepare for your BA certification credential. uh, there may be a more more link under that, so you have to finish all of them, so that you will have more ideas. And after once you finish up that, you can go to the Google and just search for BA certification questions, so you can get some sample questions from Salesforce, so you can review those questions, so that you can able to figure it out what is the model of the questions. It will really helpful for you clearing your certification. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.